You ever have those moments where everything in life feels perfect and you just can't be grateful enough for the hand you were dealt? Omori, a recently released psychological horror RPG, is nothing like that. But it is about yearning for those moments that are now long gone. Now, before I get into my thoughts about the game, I just want to level the field and say that I went in this game completely blind. This game was in the works for a long time, about 7 years or so, and yet I knew nothing about it before diving in. If I can give only one piece of advice, it's to play this way. Getting thrown for every twist, every turn within the game added to why I loved it so much more, and it made every moment looking back in subsequent runs just that much more impactful. But what makes this game so special, as opposed to, just another RPG Maker game to throw on top of that never-ending pile? Well, first and foremost, the story. Even if you have no interest in the turn-based RPG mechanics, the intense and dark themes in this game have a way of really getting into your head. Like, really get in there, though. So you finish the game and you're like, I gotta talk to it, but you can't talk to anyone about it because you don't want to spoil it, but there's all these dark, crazy themes, and you're thinking that you're going in your head, and you're like, oh man, I gotta get, you just, and then you just write a review for it. Anyway, I'll admit that it can start a little slow without any prior knowledge of the story, but trust me, the realization at the end of what has taken place makes it all worth it. This is one of the very few games that caused me to audibly express my dismay for what had occurred. Without going into spoilers, you play as a young boy who's transporting through two different worlds, the real world that we all know, and then a dream world that's known as the white space. In the real world, you play as a character named Sunny, but in the dream world, you're known as Omori. Throughout each world, there are a number of similarities between the people you meet and the worlds around you. However, the dream world is where the majority of the game will take place. In fact, you start off here for the first 5 hours or so, which can be a little off-putting when you're expecting a psychological horror game, but then instead you get these cute bunnies and happy children. But looking at who Omori is, the expressionless and almost lifeless child in comparison to the others, you can tell that something is awry. The story is all about the connection between Sunny and why he is creating this dream world. Throughout the story, you're slowly given clues to piece together the dark tragedy that plagues him and his friends. With each small nugget of information, I became more and more hooked by the mystery of what had happened. Why have people disappeared? Why are some of the counterpart characters in these worlds so different? With the completion of each section, I found myself needing to see what happens next. And I think the biggest reason the game hooked me in, and one of its major shining moments, is really the way it deals with emotions. In the context of a psychological horror, your emotions are obviously crucial, right? But it doesn't just stop at saying someone is sad or someone is afraid. They actually put that into the game by creating battle mechanics where all members in your party and enemies can experience emotions within battle. Each emotion provides a slight positive and negative trait, so when one of your characters becomes sad, they have higher defense but a lower attack. Whereas being happy, that'll provide a character a higher chance for critical hits, but a lower chance to actually hit the enemy at all. It's a pretty nifty feature that takes this a step above the standard turn-based combat. That, however, isn't the only reason why emotion is well done in this game, though. This game will definitely make you, the player, feel things. As I uncovered the truth behind all of this, I was deeply disturbed to my core at the thought of the predicament the character faced. And at the same time, the game teaches you in some ways how to handle the anxiety and extreme pressure that is placed on you by consistently questioning your decisions and pushing you to focus. Without giving anything away, it was almost poetic, the situation the game throws at you when you're given a very tough decision with a specific cat. Oh, and of course, the most important reason why emotion in this game is amazing, your character can be called a poopy head by an enemy, and that will give them the angry emotion in battle. 10 out of 10 quality content right there. And to take that point a little more seriously, moments like this are what makes the game so unlike others. At one moment, you might be seeing a gruesome, horrible spider-looking creature, and then the next, you're fighting the wackiest of creatures. I mean, look at this thing. I'm fighting a download window right now, of all things. It crosses the line between depressing reality and absurd fantasy quite well, and it fits the overall theme of a boy who's trying to escape using a dream world. The game is so enthralling that the minute I finished, I wanted to jump right back in, see more of the world and what else there was to know about this story. Luckily for me, the game is no slacker when it comes to content. With both multiple endings and an entirely separate run where you never go out into the real world at all, the game offers hours of entertainment. If you can figure out what to do, that is. You shouldn't expect all these secrets to be easy to find. There's a whole community right now devoted to playing all the different variances of the game and even data mining sections that are in the game but not innately accessible so that they can uncover more of that dark truth behind Omori. After my first run, I decided to take a look and was shocked at just how much I had really missed in my first playthrough. And now let's shift gears a little bit. I've spent most of the time singing praise for Omori, but there are a few things that I do wish were a bit different. As much as I mentioned my love for the pace of hints being dealt to you around the story, the pacing overall for many sections could really be improved. There were just too many sections where it felt drawn out for no conceivable reason other than adding time to this already lengthy game. Places where you have just a ridiculous amount of traffic cones to cut through or hallways to walk down before something happens can be a bit overplayed. I mean, just look at this thing. This is real footage of just walking up these stairs. I get it. I'm afraid of spiders and they're hitting me. Why do I have to watch it like 3 or 4 times? This also seeps into the battle mechanics as well. Don't expect to make a dent in a number of these bosses as you start getting further in if you're just running past enemies. The game requires a bit of grinding enemy encounters from time to time, and although this might be some people's jam, it just wasn't mine. The boss battles are fun and add a great twist to how you have to use your energy and combos, but basic enemy encounters could get stale after fighting those same enemies. Luckily, it isn't as excessive as some RPGs can be. I would have preferred less time grinding and more time just getting to that next part of the story. The game might have a few pieces that didn't sit well with me, but overall, I can't help but love the time I lived in this world. Slap this all together with an absolutely breathtaking soundtrack, and you really have a masterpiece on your hands. So what? Are you waiting for something to happen? Go out there, get this game yourself, and drop a comment below on what you think. Thanks for watching my Omori review. If you like what you saw, definitely hit that subscribe button. We've got more reviews. We're going to have Let's Plays. We got podcast episodes. IndiePod's got it all. It's all about indie games. If you love them like we do, definitely stick around, join us, join our Discord community. All the links are down below. Keep being awesome.